Nursing school's expensive. It is $50,000. There's scholarships, there's programs through work, there's loan forgiveness programs through places you work at. I'm making this video just to cover a taboo money subject of nursing school and its costs. The program I'm in is a 16-month program, although in the middle of it we have like a 6-week break, so it's more like 14 and a half months of program when you don't count, the Christmas break J-term that we're off. And it is $50,000. I think that's about average for an accelerated BSN nursing program. I think you can go a little cheaper if you go through community college.
I hereby pronounce you a community.
I think you can definitely get more expensive. That does not include some book fees I had, buying some scrubs. It does not include the cost of going up to Elmhurst. I had to go up there and stay for 10 days at the beginning of the program. I have to stay for 5 days at the end of the program. It doesn't cover those expenses. So it's expensive. I think nursing school is getting cheaper. I keep hearing about different programs like places that need nurses saying,
"We'll pay for you to go to nursing school if you'll sign into your contract with us afterwards."
Some of the students in my cohort are having nursing school paid for by the places they work at, in exchange again that they stay there afterwards. I think one of them works at some sort of veterans hospital, maybe as a PT, and she's getting off of work. They're paying her while she's in school, I think. I think she had to pay for school herself, but they're paying her regular salary while she's in school. I don't know the setup. I know that there are situations where school can be cheaper. For me, most of you know, I decided to go into nursing school really last minute because I found out, thanks to COVID, you could get paid to be your child's nurse if they had home nursing, and they were getting ready to make that permanent. And as soon as I learned they were making that a permanent thing, I was like, okay, well then I need to get my nursing degree because we never have all of Raylan's nursing hours covered, and I'm doing all this stuff. If insurance pays someone to do it and they can't find anyone, why not pay me to do it? When I heard that, I immediately looked for the program I could finish the quickest because that was what was going to be the most profitable for me. Going to community college, which is probably the cheaper option, it means coming out with an ADN instead of a BSN, which may be a minor deal depending on what your goals are. It also meant for me waiting until the fall to start instead of starting last spring. And it meant having to go to class in person and having to go to clinicals wherever they said. Whereas the program I'm enrolled in, not only does it start every single term, so I could start in the spring, but I could go to clinicals, not wherever I wanted, but it was very, very flexible where I went to clinicals and even what days I attended clinicals and how long my clinical shifts were. So that's a big, big plus. Scholarships are a lot easier to get if you're starting a program in the fall. Again, I was starting in the spring. It was too late to apply for almost all the scholarships. So I didn't get any scholarships for my spring and summer semester. I am hoping to get a pretty big scholarship for next school year. And had I known I was going to go into nursing school earlier, I probably could have got it for my last 2 terms too. So it kind of stinks knowing I missed out on a huge scholarship, but when you decide last minute to do something, that's just the price you pay. That said, they told me after I filled out all this scholarship information, and it was due like last April.
We'll know by mid to end of July if you are getting this scholarship.
This huge scholarship, guys, $17,000. They haven't told me yet. I messaged them yesterday. They literally copied and pasted a previous email, a section from a previous email saying, yeah, we'll let you know between the middle and end of July. And I'm like, yeah, that's now. I have bill coming up soon, and I'm still waiting to hear. It will be okay if we don't get the scholarship. I didn't know about this scholarship until after I'd already decided to go to nursing school anyways, so we weren't planning on getting the money, but it sure would help. It sure would help. I'm paying for about half of my college through student loans, which obviously have to get paid back, but those are through FAFSA. You fill out this online loan application with all your information. If you're younger, it's your parents' information to qualify for grants and loans. And I didn't qualify for any grants, but I qualified for student loans, federal student loans, which some of them you get at a lower interest rate than most private loans, much lower interest rate. So I'm taking out the max of those I'm allowed to, which for a second degree, it's around $20,000. So when I graduate, I will have those student loans to pay back. I'm not sure exactly how much I was allowed to take out in student loans. I think it's around $20,000 for your second degree. It's way more if you're working on a master's program. It might be way more if it's your first degree. But even though I didn't take out any student loans for my first degree, because it's my second bachelor's, that's the max you're allowed to take out. I'm taking out that max. Maybe Biden's gonna forgive 10,000 of it. There's been rumor.
Don't hold me to the exact number. I'll get the numbers.
Honestly, politically, I don't think that's a very smart move for our government, but I'm not going to turn it down if they want to forgive 10 grand of my student debt. So paying for school, for me, the program is 50 grand.
I am not considering $50,000.
Had I known way ahead of time, I could have applied for 2 years of this Illinois Rural Nursing Scholarship that I'm waiting to hear back from, and it's $17,000 a year. That would have greatly reduced the cost, greatly. You're not promised it though. Like they say, give us all your information and we'll consider it. I've heard that if you give them all the information and you qualify, you'll get it, but I'm still waiting to hear that. But like I said, had I known ahead of time, that's some big scholarship money there. And then the student loans, you got to pay those back. But another reason why I took out student loans, even if our government doesn't do some forgiveness, which again, I'll take it if they do it, but I really don't think that's a wise move for our economy in general. Places you go to apply to work, some of them will include tuition reimbursement. Some of them will include student loan payment while you're there. So it's worth taking out the student loans, I think, if money's a little tight, just to see if maybe you're going to take a job that's going to help cover some of those costs. Maybe it's going to help make your loan payments, or maybe the government will forgive a chunk of your loans. I recommend if you can get a low cost student loan, a government one, you take it, because there's chances it will get repaid. Private loans, for us, refinancing our house was way better than taking out any private loans. And so we refinanced our house to pay for the rest of school. Like I said, I really hope I find out I get that scholarship sometime in the next week, because that will greatly reduce my costs. But you see a big sticker, and honestly, I'm paying more for nursing school than I think most of you need to. Because if you can get one of the scholarships, or if you can have a job that will help cover your schooling, or get a job lined up afterwards that promises to help cover schooling, those things help a lot. If you can go the community college route, if you can know further ahead of time that you're starting school so you can apply for scholarships right from the bat, all those things help. Oh, the scholarship I'm getting too, it's kind of like the places that say we'll pay for your school if you'll work here for 2 years. My scholarship is from Illinois government, and you have to promise to work in a rural Illinois facility that accepts Medicaid in order to kind of like pay your scholarship back. You don't give them money back. You don't give them anything. Like, the scholarship is your money. It goes towards your schooling, and you don't have to pay it back. But if you don't fulfill your obligation to work in a rural Illinois healthcare setting, you will have to pay it back. So for me, that's almost any place around here that I work, including in home health with my daughter Raylan. That counts. And it can be full-time or part-time work. If it's part-time, you have to do it twice as long. So I think it's 1 year full-time work for 1 year of scholarship money, or 2 years part-time work for 1 year of scholarship money. So I will owe them 1 year of full-time work or 2 years of part-time work in a rural Illinois nurse job that accepts Medicaid in order to not have to pay them that money back. So there's some strings attached to my scholarship, but they're really easy strings. It would not, me working at the Schwenke Drug Rehab Facility where I'm doing clinicals at, which I love if you want to hear about my clinicals, that wouldn't count to pay it back because they don't take Medicaid. But yeah, if you're willing to have some strings attached to some money through a workplace you currently work at, a workplace you're gonna work at, if you're willing to wait on timing to fill out scholarships, that helps. If you're willing to go the community college route,
A community.
that's usually a little cheaper. There's lots of options. As soon as you start wanting extras, like I want a program that lasts a certain amount of time, I want a program that can start at a certain time, I want a program that has flexible clinicals, those are all requirements I had. Those made it more expensive. For me, it was worth it. If I was in a different position, it maybe wouldn't be worth it. You hear the doggy? Someone's doggy's barking. My daughter, Emily, she's only 12. She's got a ways to go, but she's thinking about nursing school. And I definitely wouldn't recommend the program I'm in for her. If she is still thinking about nursing school when she graduates high school, I'd probably be like, community college, LPN program, like, go. Like, just start at the bottom of the ladder and start working your way up because you're going to get a job the quickest doing that. You can get your LPNs in some places as quick as 12 months. I think most programs are 18 months, but then you can immediately start working and then you can keep going to school to go get your ADN or BSN. You might be in school longer overall than someone who just goes right away for their BSN from the beginning, but the person who goes right away for their BSN at the beginning has 4 years that they can't work as a nurse. Whereas someone who is an LPN, they can work as a nurse while they're getting their ADN or BSN, whatever degree it is they finally want. So if you have no schooling and you're looking for the quickest way to become a nurse, if you have no schooling, go to your community college, become an LPN. That's the quickest way. If you already have a degree, look for an accelerated second degree program like I'm in. If you already have a degree, I wouldn't go for an LPN program. It's going to take the same amount or more time and be almost the same amount of work. I really do think that the LPN program is almost the same amount of work. It's a little bit less, I guess, but they have to know almost the same things an RN knows. Almost all the same things they have to know. I don't know other differences, but I would recommend if you already have a degree, go get a second degree BSN or go to community college if it's cheaper and you don't mind their schedule. And if you don't have a degree yet, just go get your LPN. Get that nursing degree as fast as you can, even if it's the LPN nursing degree, and start working and then just keep going to school. That's my recommendations. The good news is even if you don't get scholarships, even if you're taking out student loans, if you're willing to work as a nurse, there is some good money. There is some good money. I think your job outlook is good. I think your prospects are good. There's a variety of jobs. It's definitely a degree. You're going to be able to pay off your student debt if you want to, if you look. For me, best paying job is not priority when I get out of school though either. And you have to consider that too. Like, what's your priority? Is it to make the most money possible? Because if so, you need to be looking at ER, ICU, OR nursing, and continuing to move up the ladder. If it's a flexible job, maybe you need to be looking into home nursing, private duty nursing. We're hiring at our house. There's work from home remote nursing jobs. I think those are a little bit harder to get for new nurses. But there's so many choices with nursing, so many choices. Some pay way better than others. Oh, look at my little kitty. He just snuck under the fence. He was so cute. Yeah, I'm filming you. Anyways, I've rambled, but long story short, nursing school's expensive. There's scholarships. There's programs through work. There's loan forgiveness programs through places you work at. There's cheaper and more expensive options you can look into. Lots of things to consider. I do not at this point regret the amount of student debt I'm incurring. I do not regret the cost of the program. I think it's been worth it. I wish I knew I was going to school in time to apply for scholarships the first year, but it is what it is. I'm not going to let it keep me awake at night. I really, really hope I learn in a few days that I get this scholarship for this next year coming up. Any day now, they should tell me. Yes, it has some strings attached. Totally fine with that. Just really hope I get it. If not, that will be a little bit upsetting, but life will go on. It will be okay because I know there is a good paying career that will pay off all my student debt, even if I don't get any scholarships. So it'll be fine. How are you paying for school, guys? If you want to share tips, tricks, your ideas, jobs maybe that have good programs that help pay for your schooling, share below, help each other out.